Hello, today we're gonna demonstrate a project covering AWS certifications, Lighthouse performance reports, and Selenium automated testing for DevOps. So the first thing we did is created a folder of DevOps that has the AWS requirement, the Lighthouse for the code bloggers, and two other external websites, and the Selenium test.site. So first we're gonna start with the DevOps, and here you can see in the WAS the first thing we did is the AWS comparison between the command line interface and AWS Management Console. And then the next thing is the learning path that I choose, and the summary of why I choose each one, and then the screenshot of the completed courses. So I started with getting started with DevOps in WAS and the command line interface, and then I attempted advanced testing, practical use. WS native courses are very good and foundational. I found also that some Udemy courses are good, has good reputation, and I think I will be attempting one of them, especially the AWS Certified Solution Architect. It has great scores and it covers a wide range of skills, and it's an intermediate level, so I think I could attempt it. It's generating report from the Lighthouse on the SEOs for the code blog homepage. I saved it as an HTML, but here's the screen where we see the performance is low while accessibility and best practices are high. The total SEO is 83. So in here in the summary is more details, but in general the performance need improvement mainly due to running on a local dev server without compression or CDN. And when it comes to the home page specifically, also it needs to, the performance is lower because it needs to fetch user data, post and sessions info from MongoDB on the load, and patching the APIs calls. All this needs to be improved. So for the home page, how to improve performance is by patching the API calls, and adding caching would improve it significantly. I hope it's clearer now. When it comes to the login page, we have it here, the summary. Detailed explanation on how to improve it. So we're saying it's likely due to the React White bundle not being code split, so all the details needed for whoever is working on it to improve the SEOs, and even projecting how much the score could improve. Then I choose Spotify for an external page, and here in the home, same, I saved it as an HTML, and here the summary. This was the most surprising result because Code Bloggers performs better than Spotify's homepage in 3 out of 4 categories, because Spotify is a full audio streaming engine, and real-time playback and recommendation loading affects its performance score. And for the login page, Spotify login page is much faster, and they have a good production infrastructure, but interestingly the blog Code Blogger beats Spotify, and because in best practices, because Spotify uses third-party tracking that Lighthouse penalize. That was a new information that using third-party could affect the scores when. Okay, then we have filling out forms and submitting data. So this is the second one. This one is it first fills out the entire registration form. Each field uses the same executes correct technique and React Native setter for the same reasoning like I explained earlier. I clicked each field first before setting the value because React needs to focus to be on the element before it processes the input event. Then the second test, where is my second test? Yes. Then the second test is create the blog post. So this one is creating the post modal in the HTML, not a regular input. So it uses the HTML text area element dot prototype instead of HTML input element dot prototype. There are two different DOM element types and uses the wrong prototype would silently fail and the value would appear set, but React stats would never update. For test 3, this test, it's also I had some challenges with it. It has 3 tests and all 3 starts by calling the local storage.clear and then reload the page, because in Firefox the password manager kept saving the text credential from previously running and autofill every time because it's just silently every time it logs in directly. So if we don't clear and reload, the form already has valid credential in it before we start the test, and clicking submit logs log us in instead of showing a validation error. So the very first test, it explicitly sets both fields to empty and using string empty and using the React setter after the page loads. This override any autofill that happened between the reloads and our script is running. Then we add a no validate to the login from the app code, because without it the browser's own HTML5 validation intercept the empty submit and shows a native tooltip. So the custom error message is never created. That kept happening, but after setting it up in this way, the test run also used wait for elements visible instead of assert element present like explained in the first one. And this is for the validate login form, reject invalid email. And then the test number 4, we did the test responsiveness. So this one, it uses the Selenium set window size command to programmatically resize the browser window. So the desktop at this size, and then the tablet and the mobile at 390. So and then back to the desktop. So after each resizing, it checks that the login card and submit button are still present and usable. The reason we test this way rather than just visually inspecting is that Bootstrap grid systems can sometimes hide or collapse elements at certain breakpoint. So by asserting that the key elements are still present at each size, we catch any CSS breakpoints bugs that would make the form unusable or smaller screens. Sometimes that would be very easy to miss during manual development. And the last one, we did automated repetitive tasks. So this one has 3 tests that automate the same outflow. A developer would repeat manually dozens of times while building and testing. So the first test automates login. The reason this is useful as an automated task is that every time you make a code change and reload, you have to log in again instead of manually typing credentials every time. So you can log in within seconds constantly without typos. So the second test, automatically create a post. This is a core feature of app, and sometimes you'd want to verify works after every code change. The test run while still authenticate forms from the previous test, because this test runs subsequently in one browser. The third test automates a full navigation and logout cycle. It navigates through every authenticated page, then clear login local storage to destroy the authentication token, which is how this app handles logout, since the app correctly redirects to login. This whole sequence would take a developer 30 seconds manually, but Selenium does it in 3 seconds every time. And this is the logout. And now I'll show you the page from the Selenium test. And now I'll run the test. Run all the tests. Now it's running the navigation. Oops. Submitting a blog post. Filling the forms. We can affect the speed from here as well. Failing to log in. And as you can see here, it will go through all the tests. And as you can see, all the tests are running successfully. So that's going to be for module 15. Thank you very much.